Welcome to another episode of Keys of the Castle podcast. Today's going to be kind of a part 2 version of the Disney and punk rock episode, which I think was the last episode on here. But either way, got me thinking about some things. And so just wanted to, continue in talking about some of the actual, not just connections between punk rock and Disney, but the actual, there's some punk rock songs and some punk rock covers. Mostly this episode's going to be about covers. Pop punk covers and I guess sort of emo covers and rock covers of Disney songs. Haven't uploaded for a while. Kind of been fighting off a cold and some sort of sinus infection kind of thing. So still recovering from that. But hopefully this episode goes smoothly. And yeah, so just kind of picking up on a couple of the things I mentioned on the last episode. Well, really just one thing actually, which is I was able to find the exact song by the Vandals. The Vandals are also from Orange County, I think, which I didn't mention on the last episode. But don't think it's a kid-friendly song, which I kind of forewarned on the last episode. Probably these punk rock episodes shouldn't be geared for kids. Shouldn't be promoted for kids, but anyway, the Vandals song is actually called Pirate's Life by the Vandals. It's a good one. It's a classic. Loved that song growing up, so you should check it out. But yeah, the rest of this is going to be about covers, so I'll just jump into that now. So kind of the first, I guess, entry album you can say that got me into Disney covers and punk covers is actually by a band called Stellar Cart. So Stellar Cart, I think, is pretty much like a Christian pop punk band, and they put out this album. I don't know what the album's called. I have pretty good references for the rest of this music, but not for this one. They put out this album that was just like maybe 5 or 6 Disney covers or so. And so you could check that out. So the album cover is like basically Frozen themed. I'm guessing maybe that's because that's just what was big at the time that it released. So yeah, they do have the Frozen songs on there, but they also have Be Your Guest, or Be Our Guest, sorry. They also have, what do they have? They have Kiss the Girl from Little Mermaid. They also have Aladdin, A Whole New World. And then they also have, what else was on there? Aladdin, A Whole New World, Kiss the Girl. I think they have Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King. So you can check those out. That one's really cool. That was kind of like the gateway for me to get into Disney covers. So really fell in love with Disney covers in the past handful of years. Another really cool pop punk / emo cover that I really love. I don't think it's track 1 anymore. I think it might be track 2 or 3, but it was track 1 for the longest time on my Disney playlist, my own personal Disney Spotify playlist. So this is from the Jungle Book, the Wanna Be Like You song, covered by Fall Out Boy. There's also a performance of them at some sort of Disney, I don't know, it's like a Disney Awards event or something like that, where Fall Out Boy performs the song live. It's pretty cool. I think it's so old though that if you see it on YouTube, the quality is not great. So just a heads up on that. But it's a really cool song, really cool vibe. I love it. Again, another one of those songs that was really kind of like a gateway for me to digging into finding a bunch of other Disney covers, and also just kind of this song kind of made it a regular thing for me to actually have a Disney playlist that I can play regularly, fairly regularly, as opposed to just straight up like soundtrack songs. I don't know, I just couldn't do that. So yeah, I love this one. It's a great one. And it's actually from an album called We Love Disney, parentheses, various artists. So such a random name and title. It's just called We Love Disney. There's some other songs on there as well. Let me see. I don't want to open my music app because last time I recorded this episode, it cut me off from my recording. So yeah, there's other songs on there. I think there's like a cool version of a little fun spin-off version of like Spoonful of Sugar, and some other ones. So be sure to check that out. It's literally just called We Love Disney. It's on Spotify. I'm sure it's everywhere else as well. And there's some cool covers on that. There was actually a song that I thought was on there, but it's not, which is the Winnie the Pooh song sung by Zooey Deschanel. So Zooey Deschanel does some cool stuff. She just has such a cool vibe and style about her, which includes, like, oddly enough, just her actual like person and the tone of her voice, and the way she sings and stuff like that. So even her songs that were like fake songs just for the movie Yes Man, I think that's the movie, if I'm not getting it incorrect. So it's the movie with her and Jim Carrey, I think it is. Yeah, she has like some fake songs in there in the band, and they just sound super cool to me, even though they're not even real songs. They're original to the movie, so they are real in that sense, but it's not like an actual band or whatever. A little bit silly of songs, but they're good. I love them. So she does the Winnie the Pooh song, and it's on an actual Winnie the Pooh album. So it's from 2011. I don't know if this came out with like a certain movie or what, but it's not like I actually thought this song that she does was like a cover album for like the longest time. I actually thought it was on the We Love Disney album, which is just like a bunch of covers. That's the album with like the Fall Out Boy song and everything. So it's not though. So this is an actual legitimate Winnie the Pooh, full on Winnie the Pooh song. But it's just Zooey Deschanel singing it, and I was just looking at the album there, and she does a few of them, like 3 or 4 of them on that same album. So I'll have to check out the rest too, because I haven't heard the rest actually. This song must have just popped up, and I must have just heard it and liked it and threw it on the playlist. So that's really cool. So definitely check that out. Her version is really great. This next portion is we're just gonna get into the rest of like the more punk rock and all that type of stuff. Cause yeah, the Stellar Cart, that stuff is, is pop punk. It's definitely just a pop punk version of the Disney songs that they cover. The Fall Out Boy, that's a little bit more rock-esque. Definitely just kind of sounds like Fall Out, like a nice high energy version of Fall Out Boy, which is always nice. Maybe even like similar to like Dance Dance vibes by Fall Out Boy. So yeah, and then the Zooey Deschanel song, that's a pretty laid back song, and the other songs on the We Love Disney album are pretty laid back. They're pretty mellow. But this next set of stuff is a little bit of a darker tone. So it's called Nightmare Revisited. Pretty sure that's what it's called. And yeah, it's called Nightmare Revisited. And it's Nightmare Before Christmas, covered by a bunch of like rock artists and stuff. So it's actually really cool. Some of the stuff is actually so dark and stuff that like it's even beyond my taste. But there's definitely some bangers on here that I love. So on this album, the funny thing, which I talked about on the last album, is that there are songs on this album that are actually from Danny Elfman, I think. Pretty sure. And I had mentioned on the last album about Danny Elfman, just that he is kind of like a rock type of person, I think, as far as I know himself. So kind of funny that the Nightmare Before Christmas album that's supposed to be covers, like rock covers, also includes like the original guy who did the music for Nightmare Before Christmas. So just kind of goes to show you the authentic, alternative type of vibe of Nightmare Before Christmas, even in the music and scoring. So he's on there. The first track, which I love, which I have on my own personal Disney playlist, is the Overture. It sounds like almost identical to me. Like I can't even, I almost, in my brain for some reason, I can hardly distinguish the difference. I think it's just, a little darker, a little spookier, a little deeper, that sort of a thing than the original. So this Overture is kind of like the intro of Nightmare Before Christmas, where it's kind of the intro of the narrator saying, like, if you've never wondered where holidays come from, I'd say it's time you begun. The holidays are the result of much fuss and hard work for the worlds that create them for us, yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's a good one though. And then just another few that I have on my actual playlist. So some of these are, before that though, some of these are actually pretty dark. Like there's like the two ones that I remember that come to mind that are like really heavy or dark is like This Is Halloween. So that's actually a pretty kind of scary, I guess, one on here. And then also Making Christmas. It's already like some of these songs are like they're already dark and scary enough, and this album just takes things to a whole new level. So Making Christmas is done by Rise Against. So Sally's song. So this song is not necessarily like dark or scary, but it is like extremely sad to me and like kind of like deep and emotionally intense. So this song is actually sung by Amy Lee, which Amy Lee, I'm pretty sure, is from, what's the word? Evanescence. That's the band. And yeah, it's just super intense. I'm just looking at the plays here. It's got 25 million plays on YouTube Music. Pretty crazy. So yeah, no, but it's even fun just to check out and just to hear, different versions of these songs. So yeah, it's cool and interesting. So definitely check them out if you can. And then a couple other ones. I think that's actually pretty much it for the ones to like note that I don't have on my playlist. The main ones that I have on my playlist are What's This, which is actually done by Flyleaf, which is really, really cool. The freaking song is actually in a minor key. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Instead of being in a major key, it's in a minor key, and it's just really, really crazy sounding, which is cool. I'm just seeing this song pop out to me right now. So Jack's Lament is done by the All American Rejects. I don't remember what that sounds like, so I'll have to check that out again right now after this podcast. And the other song, before I say my last song on my own playlist from this album, which is my favorite song, before I say that, I think I saw a song by Fall Out Boy. I think I saw just now, right before recording this podcast, I think I noticed that there was a version of Fall Out Boy doing What's This. So I'll have to check that out. I feel like it sounds familiar, so maybe I've heard it already. But I saw something that looked like it was on this album. But like if you look at the standard track list, it's not on there. So I'll have to go check that out. I think I'm just going to scroll through a lot of this album after this podcast and definitely check out the Fall Out Boy version of What's This if I can find that. But the last song on here that I want to talk about, which I really, really, really love, is Oogie Boogie's song. And it's crazy because I actually never even liked this song from the original movie. Like, didn't care for it whatsoever. If anything, it kind of annoyed me. But this song is done by Tiger Army, which is like a rockabilly, psychobilly punk band. I don't know what that would be categorized as. So don't kill me for getting that wrong. But basically, they're kind of like a psychobilly / rockabilly punk / rock band sort of a vibe. And man, their version of Oogie Boogie's song is so freaking sick. It's so epic, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite song off of this album, which I feel like that says a lot because it's my least favorite. It was, maybe not my least favorite, but it was one of the songs that I didn't care for at all from the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack. My favorite song is actually What's This? And on this album, just happens to be Oogie Boogie's song by Tiger Army, which I'm seeing here is actually a bonus track apparently. And there's another version of Oogie Boogie's song, which I think, again, it just sounds vaguely familiar, but don't remember it. So the Oogie Boogie song by Tiger Army is actually a bonus track, so just keep that in mind in case that might affect you wherever you're checking this out, if you do. And the last thing is actually a brand new, well, not brand new, came out 2024, but a pretty recent album that I didn't even realize it was put out by Disney. So this is an actual like Disney album, I guess. So you may or may not have seen it around in promotion, but it's called A Whole New Sound. It's very like millennial pop punk emo-esque type of vibes, and it's freaking epic. I'm not gonna lie, it's freaking epic. The reason I even like, normally I wouldn't even care really like about who puts out these albums. As you can probably tell at this point, I only looked into these specific albums for this podcast episode. So the only reason why I looked into who put out the A Whole New Sound album is because the sound and the production of this album is so freaking good. So only saying that because I did music for a long time, still kind of do, just not really, but I mess around at home sometimes. Yeah, I did like music for a good while, and specifically like more so rock styled music. So I can kind of tell and have a bit of an ear of like production quality and stuff like that. And man, this album just really, really, really impressed me. So that's the reason why I wanted to find out who actually put out the album. Finding out that it's actually Disney is really cool. A little bit surprising because I'm like, wow, it's so cool that Disney put out like a little, not like a proper punk rock album, but they put out like a little pop punk album or whatever, and it's really cool. So yeah, and the production, I was like, man, like that's just insane. The level of production on this album is just incredible. And if I could, I'd love to take a look even further to see like who actually produced it and what have you. But every song sounds so good. Like there's certain guitar parts, certain parts where like just certain drum sounds stand out to me on certain songs, and man, it's just so good. So anyway, that album came out in 2024, and I'm gonna go through the track list a little bit. So the first song I absolutely freaking love. There's really only a couple songs on here, a few songs that like I'm not super into. And there's other versions of certain songs on here where I kind of prefer other versions. So the first song though is an absolute banger, which is Part of Your World, which is obviously Ariel and Little Mermaid. So this is done by New Found Glory, which is a pop punk band from like 90s, early 2000s. It is so freaking epic. It's so good. Some of the bands on here I've actually never heard of. But yeah, it's a banger. So it starts off strong with that one. They've got Remember Me from the movie Coco by Mayday Parade on this one. All the artists that are named on this album, it's like so and so and Disney. So song 1, Newfound Glory and Disney. Song 2, Mayday Parade and Disney. So Remember Me, Mayday Parade did a great job. It's a really cool version. They absolutely crushed it on that. It's another banger on this album, I'd say. Simple Plan does Can You Feel the Love Tonight? I feel like that's the perfect choice for that song. Perfect band choice. So well done, Disney. I think I prefer this version, to be honest. I prefer this version over the Stellar Cart version. Granted, Stellar Cart probably doesn't or didn't have the level of production that freaking Disney does. So we'll give them that. But yeah, this version was really cool. They also actually have Eye to Eye from the Goofy movie. It's an artist called Magnolia Park, which I'm not really familiar with, but it's a pretty good version. It's a great one. I'm a little bit biased, so there's another version by a band who I think pretty much only does covers, which is called Punk Rock Factory. They do all sorts of covers. They do Disney covers, non-Disney covers, other cartoon covers. Like, I'm sure they do, I don't know, every silly type of cover that you could think of. Silly and cartoony. So Punk Rock Factory, definitely they're not for kids, though. I don't remember why, but I'm just remembering that there's stuff about them that is not for kids. So I feel like I have to say it. But anyway, they have a version of Eye to Eye, and I don't remember his last name, but they feature this singer called Adrian. I think it's like Estrella or something like that. I don't remember. I think that's his name. But either way, this dude named Adrian, and he's originally, well, I don't know if it's the first band he was ever in, but he's from a band called Assuming We Survive, which is from around the same area that I'm from originally. And this guy was actually in my history class in college for a bit before I stopped going to that class. Stay in school, kids. But anyway, yeah, this version of Eye to Eye from Punk Rock Factory, which features Adrian in it, I think he sings for another band now, which I won't say because it's so extremely not for kids. But yeah, like, it's so epic. It's a good version of this song, Eye to Eye, and I think I prefer that one to this one. This one is really, really, really incredibly good, though, by Magnolia Park, I guess. So yeah, definitely check that out. Check the Punk Rock Factory version out. That one's clean. That one is for kids. And yeah, it's definitely more of like a raw punk rock version. The Punk Rock Factory version, that is more raw and punk rock. So just a heads up on that one. But the vocals by Adrian are like freaking epic. Like, he probably should have sung the whole song, to be honest. But at the same time, because he doesn't sing the whole song, when he does come in, it's like that much more freaking epic. So just a side note on that. I'll jump ahead a little bit and say Punk Rock Factory does a version also of, I guess it's called Surface Pressure, which is from Encanto. So Plain White T's, they do that song on this Whole New Sound album. It is really good. It is good. I want to say possibly the Punk Rock Factory is a competitor with their version, though. But you can decide for yourself. So the next song here after Eye to Eye, though, on the Whole New Sound is a whole new world, which is Yellow Card, but it also says featuring Chrissy Costanza. Not familiar with Chrissy Costanza, but I am familiar with Yellow Card. I actually met Ryan Key the singer of Yellowcard, at another punk rock show, which he was not even performing at. And I won't say the name of the bands that were there, just because they're also not a good influence in my opinion. But back in my younger days when I was different. So such a cool dude though. Like, I said what's up to him and met him and stuff, and he was just one of the coolest guys ever. So thanks, Ryan Key, for being cool that time. And this is a great version as well of A Whole New World on this album, especially when the female vocal comes in, when Chrissy comes in and starts singing the girl part. It's especially epic on that part. Next song would be Go the Distance by We the Kings, and that is from Mulan? I think it's from Mulan. I'm not too familiar with that song, to be honest, though. I don't know, somehow I missed out on the Mulan train, so I need to get on that at some point. But yeah, check it out because you might love it. I have no idea. Surface Pressure I just talked about. We'll skip that one. You've Got a Friend in Me is on here, track 8. Kind of an interesting one because it's just like, at least for me, knowing a little bit about music and especially a little bit about punk rock, like when I hear the original version of You've Got a Friend in Me, I'm like, there's no, how can you possibly change that into like a pop punk song even, or any sort of rock song? But they did it and it came out okay. It's definitely not my favorite on the album. It's by Meet Me at the Altar, which is a cool name. That's a really cool name. They sound great too, but I just think the song choice is like, man, it's rough. That's a hard one to translate over to this style version on this album. And then the next track is You'll Be in My Heart, which is originally from, Phil Collins and Tarzan. And so it is by Boys Like Girls. And this is a really cool version of this. I just love this song. So as long as it's done professionally, it is kind of hard to mess up. But yeah, no. This is a super, super great version though. Like it's really, really good. So definitely check it out. Probably one of my more so favorited Disney tracks anyway. So again, maybe I am biased, but no, it's incredible. Next track up on the list, and kind of coming down to the last few, Colors of the Wind, and this is done by Tokyo Hotel. And again, this is one of my favorite Disney songs across the board, kind of all time somehow. And so this song they did really well with. The translating this song into a punk rock song, they did really, really well with, and it just came out so good. I can't even, it's hard to describe how well they did it, because of course it does keep the feel of its original form, but at the same time, there's just so much more like power behind it, I guess. And so yeah, it's definitely a good one. And then I want to say, let me see if I could be missing a track, but I thought there was 12 tracks, so I could be missing one. But the last track the song that I know is the last track on the album, which I thought was track 12. Maybe it's track 11, or maybe I'm skipping track 11. But either way, I'll end on this. It's Bowling for Soup, and then they do the Genie song from Aladdin, which is never You've Never Had a Friend Like Me, something like that. Such a cool, fun version. Again, perfect choice of a band for this. They've got that like wacky type of vibe, but they can also shred. So it just comes out really, really well done. And so yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. I had a lot of fun past couple episodes talking about punk rock and Disney, and the definitely somewhat unexpected and random connection between the two. These are some of my favorite Disney covers, pop punk covers, emo covers, punk rock covers that you should definitely check out. You'll definitely love them, especially if you're a millennial, I'm sure, that's into emo and pop punk. And so that's going to do it, though, for this one, guys. So thanks so much, and hope you enjoyed it. And as always, whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is pure, think on these things. All right, guys. Take care.